Hello and welcome. My name is Chrysio. Um, Today I'm gonna finish with the Alliance quest and then do the event, and then I'm gonna continue with MSQ.
Wow!
I cannot express how glad I am you returned safely, Chrysio, and with the means to dispel the threat of the Crystal Tower for good. Rest if you will, and then let us free ourselves from the specter of the Alagans. I trust you have rested, my friend. Good. I wish to seal the tower now, but there is something we must do first. Let me summon the others and hear in full what happened beyond the rift. So the Alagan eye that runs in Graha's line, does that mean that royal blood flows in his veins? I suppose it is not so odd to think his forebears gained it via ancient technology, but who imbued his family with the blood and for what purpose? Mayhap all this was fate, from discovering the tower to Graha gaining Une's and Doga's blood. Has Graha said anything, for that matter? Where is Graha? And what of Nero? I'm not sure about our resident historian, but Nero left the tower with me. Where he's vanished to since, I cannot say. But knowing him as I do, I don't believe he'll scheme against us for the time being, though he is still Nero. Gracio, you say Graha stayed behind at the Crystal Tower? I wonder if he even now prepares to seal the place off. Master Rambros. It is Graha Tia, sir. He came into the Crystal Tower and began ordering researchers out. What? Why would he do such a thing? I do not know, sir, but he was quite insistent. He but bodily forced me out of the gates. I suppose it's possible he told one of the others, but I wasted no time in finding out. I thought it best to hasten here and ask your guidance. Very well, let us go and speak with these researchers and get to the bottom of this weird business. Master Garlon, Chrysil, please come with me. No doubt Graha means to seal off the Crystal Tower, but it worries me that he did not breathe a word of his plan to us. What in the world was Grahatia thinking, demanding we leave the tower? No doubt you want to know why. I wish I knew that myself. Of course, he wouldn't tell me nothing, but he will be honest with you, miss. I am certain of it. Go no further, my friends. The doors will close ere long. So you are of a mind to seal the tower, Graha? I know time is of the essence, but all I ask is a hint of your plan. Please come here so we can discuss this. No, my apologies, but I cannot. Come, man, what is this nonsense? If aught is amiss, surely we can help. No, this time, my friend. Just as Une and Doga fulfilled their destiny, so too I must fulfill mine. My blood has awakened me to this fact. As my father told me, the truth has always lain with Alak, or rather, it was there the wish I must grant was born. You see, not all the world perished in Sande's calamity. Survivors stood amidst the ruins of Alak, looking to the crystal tower, but it was nowhere to be seen. Yet they hope its spires will again dominate the land and prayed that the crystal tower will be a beacon of hope to people everywhere. Word of this soon reached the only members of Alak's royalty to outlive the empire, the Princess Salina. Salina was moved by the people's dearest wish. She used the very best of Alak's technology to give her blood and memories to he whom she trusted most. That man was my forebearer. For millennia we waited. Alak's art and ingenuity faded. Our royal blood grew thin, but before the last drop could vanish from the realm, the memory of all this returned to me. And now I must fulfill the wish of the ancients. The tower will shine forth as a new beacon of hope. Graha, the crystal tower's strength poses too great a threat to Eorzea now. We would need technology as advanced as Alex to use it correctly. As things stand, we barely understand the tower's workings. Hells, we may never fully comprehend them. It is as you say, Sid. We could wait for someone, someday, to reach the same height as Alex, but by then, we will have lost the royal blood and the means to control the tower. But what if I do as Aemon did and put the tower into a deep sleep? What? You cannot mean that. I am deadly serious, Sid. The tower may only be used once men rival the Alax in knowledge. I will slumber within Circus Tower until then, to greet those with the means to open the gates. Then I will guide them, and thus will the tower shine forth as the beacon of hope it was meant to be. It is the only way to make the wishes of the ancients come true. The future is where my destiny awaits. But yours lies outside of these doors. Go create a future where hope reigns and the tragedies of the past are but memories. No one but you can accomplish such things. Nothing we say will make you change your mind, will it? Onward to a brighter future. It won't be easy, of course, but that's exactly why we'll do it. You'll catch up with Alak. Just you wait. We'll cover all that lost ground before you even know it. Well said, Wedge. It'll only be a few years before we come knocking, Graha. Then you're in for a rude awakening. You shall be witness to Noah's accomplishments. Pray keep alive our success and forgive us our failures, and we may meet again, my friend. The 12 keep you till then, Rambros. I look forward to learning of your exploits. And you, Chrysil, I know history will remember you. No doubt your heroism will be the star by which I chart my course when I awake. Well now, I must rest. Recalling so much has put me into the mood for sleep. Farewell, my friends. I eagerly await a future born of your courage and the ancient's wish. The crystal tower slumbers again, then. It is too quiet for my taste. Goodbye, Sid. I must put all this at my back, possibly beckons, and I am bound to follow. A new dawn has come for me. You have just missed Sid, Chrysil. There is much that needs his attention if he is to fulfill Graha's wishes, it seems. But this is not the end of Noah. No matter how lonely Saint Konax fine has begun for our friend's departure. We must all walk in different directions now. Remember that we labor for a brighter future, lit by Graha's beacon. Sealing the crystal tower was but the first step. Farewell, my friend. May our paths cross again. You have completed the Crystal Towers quest series. Rest well, champion, for the main scenario and many other adventures await you. Okay, let's do the event. I am Habak Albak, a self-styled student of sundry subjects, though I am best known perhaps for putting pen to parchment for a popular paper, The Mithril Eye. In this time of trials and tribulations, a subject of singular strangeness has ensnared my senses. Magical monstrosities, more commonly known as golems. But I speak now of no common creation of magecraft. No, these shambling servants of stone have no equivalent in all of Eorzea. Should these curious constructions contain ores of extraordinary origin? Well, I can only imagine the influence it might exert over Ulda's economy. Amagina and Sons Minerals concern has come to a congruent conclusion, and its superiors seek a savvy adventurer to separate the facts from from the fantastic. A representative of Amagina and Sons awaits outside Arsanet Oswari. If exploring this enigma seems an entertaining endeavor, then I would wander over before this window of opportunity is wasted. Hey, don't sneak up on me like that. Are you trying to make me soil my bridge? You're here for the job, are you? Well, I hope you have experienced dismantling golems. We've been gathering reports of some never seen before, never before seen. I don't know. Constructs that have begun showing up all over the damn realm. Nary a soul knows what the creatures are made of, so Amagina and Sons means to be the first to take a big axe to this mystery mother lode. Need you to get out of there and take apart one of them, tumbling piles of bricks, and bring me a good sized chunk of the remaining rubble. What do you say, eh? Will you give it a shot? Good lass. I'll have a nice, refreshing reward for you when you get back. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, we'll need to look it up because I don't know where is the location of the fades. Okay, Central Tanalang. Pues, South Tanalang. Nope. Okay, Lower La Nocia. Central Shroud. Oh. Have you taken a sample of one of the odd golems? Oh, now ain't that special? That luster, that shine. Can you smell it? It is the scent of profit, my friend. That's some fine work you did, adventurer. Very fine indeed. Now, just as I promised you, I've prepared a payment you're sure to enjoy. Don't be shy now, lass. We all need a bit of pampering from time to time. Ah, bonjour, my lovely. Can we interest you in say? Oh, I don't know. I can can I say puff puff? This way we show you a good time. It will not hurt, I promise. Puff puff away. I don't know how to say that. We just relax. You will have twice fun with with your eyes closed. I don't know. Brace yourself. Here it comes. Puff 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 puff. Have you ever felt anything so warm and soft? Just relax and enjoy. Wow. Feels good, doesn't it? We sometimes indulge in a bit of the puff puff ourselves. Me, thanks again for your cooperation, lass. Here's a little something extra. What ain't so fleeting. Au revoir. I mean, it was good meeting you. Look forward to doing business with you again sometime. Ah, the adventurer. You were triumphant in your tussle against the towering titans, I trust. And it so happens I have been hired by Amagina and Sons to craft an account of the aforementioned anomaly. It best begin before the focus on these fantastical foes falls out of fashion. My remuneration is promised to be the most refreshing and perhaps a touch of risque. I fear I haven't an inkling as to what is implied, but I shall look forward to it nonetheless. Okay, so let's continue with the MSQ. Oh, it's here. Now is not a good time, Chrysil. My hands are full dealing with the refugees. Precisely the matter we wish to discuss, General. Alphonse, back in your feet already? You may credit my swift recovery to your diligence. My memories of the riot are still somewhat muddled. I trust you managed to regain control of the situation. Not entirely. We secured the city soon enough, but not before the unrest had spread to the surrounding territories. Pockets of resistance remain throughout Tanalan. We have sent what forces we can spare to root out the last of the belligerents, but progress is slow. They are damnably elusive. I can well imagine, given that the majority of the refugees live outside the walls, it stands to reason that they would know the lay of the land. What I do not understand is how they came to be so well prepared. Before my little accident, I observed that several of the refugees were armed, and not with butcher's knives or pitchforks, but with martial weaponry. I need hardly add that such equipment is costly. None can deny that tensions between the old dance citizenry and the refugee population have increased since settlements were turned away. But would that motivate a starving man to purchase arms in lieu of food? I think I think not. And what of those who have not even a single guild to spend, who could not survive without the aid provided by the immortal flames? Surely they would sooner sell a weapon than bring it to bear against their benefactors. Come to the point. Very well. My point, General, is that this powder keg of discontent was not set alight by chance. These events were deliberately set in motion, and and now order must be restored. That's my first duty. Until it's done, any investigation can wait. I do not have time to discuss this. My scouts will be returning anon. The general is no fool. He keeps his own counsel, and with a good cause. Were he to claim without the necessary proof that these riots were instigated by outside forces, the monetaries would accuse him of attempting to shirk responsibility. After all, he and the Sultana have been the most outspoken proponents of refugee aid. Regardless, they will face harsh criticism in the days ahead. Our allies may stumble upon the truth in time, but I have far more faith in your abilities, Chrysil. Therefore, I propose we conduct our own investigation, independent of the authorities. To that end, I will have you make inquiries in the settlements suspected of harboring belliger- belligerents. Commander Swift will know which they are. They may balk at a request for such information, but I have no doubt that you can persuade him with your silver tongue. I meanwhile shall seek answers in my own way, after which we can regroup and share our findings. Well then, shall we? You look as though you have something to say, Chrysil. Do you? What you ask is no simple favor. Where such information fall into the wrong hands, the life of countless soldiers will be at risk. Even so, there is wisdom in your words. An able individual may be better suited to this task than a regiment. Very well. The brass blades have reported suspicious activity in the vicinity of Lost Hope. It may be unrelated to recent events, but we doubt it. I suggest you begin by speaking to the blades posted there. A friend of the Sultanate, are we? I take this means someone has read my report. The refugees who left with the merchant have yet to return. I am increasingly concerned that Sasawaka's suspicions were correct. You haven't the foggiest what I'm talking about, do you? Never mind. Speak with Sasawaka. He will explain everything. And what brings you here, adventurer? A search for refugees? Well, then, you come to the right place. You mean those refugees? Oh no, you won't find them here. Most of the people of Lost Hope have come to accept their situation and are content to pass their days in peace and quiet. Outsiders have trouble understanding that. Like that merchant who passed through recently, gregarious fellow, but awfully opinionated. Can't say I was sad to see him go. Don't hurt me. I'm not one of them. I beg your pardon. You're not a flame? I see. If Leofric bid you speak with me, then I take it you have agreed to help. 12 be praised for that, because we haven't a moment to waste. Everyone knows the flames are on the march. The others have fallen under the fanatic spell, but not I. Promises of revolution and retribution, of holding the ruling class to account and taking what that is that it oh my god, and taking that which is owed, ha, a childish fantasy. I did everything I could to dissuade the others from leaving, but few would hear my words. Now that one of our idealists has returned, however, the madness of the merchant's plan is plain for all to see. Look behind yonder tent, and you will understand why. Even now he babbles incoherently, so traumatized by he and the bloodshed he witnessed. Try as I might, I can make little sense of his words beyond the fact that he was not alone in surviving. Yet I have no doubt that merchant will lead the remainder to their doom. I beg of you, find them before he does. What are you doing? Don't draw. Don't draw. Don't draw. Don't draw. Don't draw. Why you run away with me? We could have escaped together. Then you'd be here with me. Be here to soothe me. Why didn't you have to stay and leave me alone? Why did you have to stay and leave me alone? Who are you? What do you want? It's true. I followed the merchant and made the gods strike me down for my folly. What they will not give, you must take, he said. When we asked how, he revealed a cache, I guess, of weapons he had brought and implored us to seize control of our fate. I thought about running then and there, but the others were so excited. He split us into two groups, sent us off on our own. But when the flames found us, he didn't know what to do. Our leader tried to parley with theirs, but then they started arguing and then fighting, and then everyone was fighting, and the flames were shouting to give no quarter. And oh gods, the other group, they're still out there. If we don't stop them, they'll be massacred like mine was. The other refugees are hiding in the caves south of Lost Hope, but to approach them will be fruitless. They will sooner call us agents of the Sultanate and try to kill us than listen to reason. Why? The twins might even deign to do the deed themselves. A pox on all bloody swords. They were supposed to train us to fight, but the ones he sent with us vanished during the struggle. Oh, if only we had never listened to that merchant's ridiculous claims. He said our cause was righteous, that the gods will never suffer us to be defeated. Thought, though, if they were forced to confront reality, that's it. Challenge the twins to combat and show my brethren that their strongest warriors are no match for one woman. Mayhap then they will agree to lay down their arms and renounce this blood. Oh god. 7 hells, they found us. Everyone grab your gear and make for the rendezvous point. So that's your game, is it? Sorry to disappoint you, lass, but we're more than willing to kill you ourselves. You beat them like it was nothing. God Almighty, what are we gonna do now? You've returned? Did you find my brethren? What of the twins? What happened? I see. Well, you had no choice. Better that a handful of them take a beating from you than the lot get butchered by the flames. Tell me, what did the merchant have to say when it was over? But where else could he be? Unless he went to the stone's throw to recruit others. The merchant wished to approach the refugees in stone's throw. Stone's throw? I don't know. But that but was waiting until the flames withdrew their forces from the vicinity. Now that they have, there's nothing to stop him from continuing his work. How many more must perish in pursuit of this futile cause? How much more suffering must we endure before it ends? Find him, convince him to cease his mad quest. It will surely lead us to ruin. Have have you seen my parents? They told me to stay here with the others. They say they'll be back soon, but it's been days. They left with the man from Molda. The man said they were gonna change everything, make it so we could live inside the walls with everyone else. I like it when he said that. I didn't like it when he talked about making the rich people pay. Everyone looked so angry and I got scared. Say, miss, are you looking for someone? I'm looking for a merchant. You mean the man who left with my parents? But I don't know where he. Wait, look, over there. I think that's him. Well, now, which of these gullible fools shall be my next victim? You. I. He's getting away. Go get him, miss. You again? Why are you pursuing me? Sedition? Treason? Revolution? That's preposterous. Who has filled your head with these lies? Refugees? The selfsame refugees who terrorize the streets of Bulda? Ha. You have no evidence to prove your actions. None. No, I will not accompany you to the halls of flames. You have no right to detain me. For the sake of argument, let us say I did do the things you claim. Surely you don't think I gave a quicker's arse about politics. It was business, only business. We both know I am not the one you want. However, if you agree to protect me, I swear I shall tell you everything. What's all this commotion? Seven hells. Tell the others to spread out and search the area. The killer may still be close. Hold, adventurer. I will know more about your relationship with the victim, as well as the events leading up to his death. This man was responsible for the recent riots. Mayhap we owe his murder a debt of gratitude. In any case, it is obvious you're not the one whom we seek. You may carry your with your own oh my god. You may carry on with your investigation, Zion. He's so cute. Oh. What news, Brysil? Where is the merchant? Murdered? Damn it all, to the seventh hell. He was not simply murdered, Brysil. He was silent. Too many knew his face, and he was ready to divulge his secrets. Do not despair, though. We may be closer to identifying the true orchestrator of these riots than you realize. The Flame General left word that you were to proceed to the fragrant chamber as soon as you return. He wishes to discuss your recent discoveries, as well as the results of your own investigation. Master Alphinaud has already been informed and should be waiting for you outside. Pray proceed to the royal promenade with all haste and speak with Bartholomew. We have been expecting you, madam. Please proceed inside.
Commander Swift has kept us apprised of your recent activities. You've made great strides towards quelling the violence.
Despite our best efforts to determine what provoked this uprising, the truth continues to elude us. Have you uncovered aught which might shed some light on the mystery?
This information does not leave this room. The Syndicate's decision to reject the Doman refugees' appeal for asylum had lasting repercussions. A number of those displaced by the calamity claimed it was proof of a policy of discrimination. Together with a group of Alamegan refugees, they organized a series of demonstrations to protest against the Sultanate. Demonstrations which became heated, but did not descend into violence. Until a certain incident served as a call to arms.
A unit of brass blades sent to supervise a demonstration loosed arrows upon unarmed protesters. It was this atrocity which prompted the refugees to take up arms. I need not tell you what followed.
We assumed at first that the attack was born of a miscommunication. When emotions run high, they happen. But suspicions were raised regarding the unit's commanding officer, whom I ordered interrogated. Sure enough, our fears were soon confirmed. The dog confessed that a merchant had offered him coin to give the order. A merchant in the employ of Teleji Adeleji.
Teleji Adeleji. But he spoke in favor of the Doman's cause, and has ever seemed sympathetic towards the refugees' plight. Why would he do such a thing?
Know you of the Cartano Reclamation Bill? It is a proposal to annex the Cartano Flats so that refugees may establish permanent settlements.
When last I looked, that was disputed territory.
Aye. Some might even call it a battlefield. The destruction wrought by Bahamut was greatest at the Cartano Flats. That much is common knowledge. What is less well known is that his rampage laid bare ancient Alagon ruins, of which no record existed. There are certain differences of opinion as to how these ruins should be handled, which is why each nation maintains a military presence in the region to this day. Yet differ though we may, we are still allies. Therefore, in the interest of preserving the Eorzean alliance, we have reached an agreement. Any conflict which may arise during the course of military exercises in the region shall have no bearing on relations between our nations. In full knowledge of this delicate state of affairs, Teleji Adeleji proposed the Cartano Reclamation Bill. A shameless bloody ruse which stands to benefit him in but one conceivable way. If successful, he will gain control over the disputed territory under the guise of assisting in the resettlement effort. And you can be sure he'll build an orphanage next to every Alagon ruin.
The man would threaten the unity of the Eorzean alliance and risk countless lives for personal gain.
He walks a path all his own, independent of any faction and beholden to none of his fellows on the Syndicate.
By inciting the less fortunate to violence, he hopes to convince others that the Cartano Reclamation Bill is the only viable solution. His sympathy for the plight of the Domans was not but posturing to gain credibility with the refugees. Of that there can be no doubt.
Forgive me, but what could possibly motivate Teleji Adeleji to go to such lengths? What is so special about these ruins that he would risk his position on the Syndicate, and, most likely, charges of treason against the Sultanate?
Omega.
Pardon?
An Olagon monstrosity, not unlike the Ultima weapon. Mayhap larger, we know not. It has yet to be fully excavated. Olagon inscriptions indicate that it was created to fell Bahamut himself. If accurate, it might explain why Nail Van Darnus chose to bring the Red Moon down upon the Cotonou Flats. Given the ends he went to ensure Eorzea's annihilation, destroying the one weapon which could stay the Elder Primal may well have seemed like good sense.
When first I bore witness to the power of the Ultima weapon, I doubted the evidence of my senses. And now you tell me there is another such weapon, one which could contend with Bahamut. Bahamut!
Aye, we were skeptical ourselves. Truth be told, until the Ultima weapon's existence came to light, we thought the inscription had been mistranslated.
At present, Omega is more akin to a fossil than a tool of war, having long since ceased to function. As such, its true potential cannot accurately be gauged. However, if someone were to restore it, as the Garleans did the Ultima weapon, I have little doubt that he would wield untold power.
Power enough to subjugate Uldar like as not, and the rest of Eorzea besides, which is doubtless why Teleji Adeleji yearns to have it.
That he should aspire to world domination. He who has ever walked 2 paces behind Lord Lolorito in matters of commerce.
'Tis in acknowledgement of his own limitations that he seeks this power. Woe betide us all should we allow him to have it.
Pray waste no time chasing rats. Only a fool would believe that secrets can be kept in Uldar.
It would seem the implications of the Sultanate's refugee problem are rather more far-reaching than we assumed.
I should be glad to know the truth, and yet the thought that all this chaos was the product of one man's lust for power sickens me. How long do you think they intend to hide the existence of Omega from the science? That they even felt the need to do so, it's most troubling. It would be our best interest to learn more of the military activities in the disputed territories. Fortunately, you are already well positioned to do so privately. Pray keep us informed of any developments in Cartonu. Begone well. This is no place for children. I'm sorry. I was looking for you, miss. You said you were looking for the man who left with my parents. You know this girl? So he visited Stone's Throw as well? I see. Did you find the man? Were my parents with him? They were not, I'm afraid. However, I can think of several places they might be. If you like, we can go and look for them together. Really? You'll help me look, mister? Of course. But first, I must need finish speaking with my friend. She's telling me a secret, you see, so no one else is allowed to listen. Mayhap you could wait for me by that pillar over there? We require but a moment. Okay, mister. I'll be waiting. I'll take it to the quicksand. Mayhap Momodi will know what to do. A legion of guardians, an ether, starched primal, even dealing with an ASEAN would be preferable to this charade. Sometimes I fear Minfilia is too ambitious. We rush hither and yon in response to threats as they arise, without concern for the strain it places on our limited resources and ourselves. Mayhap the time has come for a change. Brazil, this is Minfilia. I know this is sudden, but I must ask you to return to Revenant's Stone with all due haste. The situation in the Twelfth Wood has taken a turn for the worse. I will explain in detail once you arrive. The Twelfth Wood? Then the primal threat you spoke of before has been confirmed. I have received no reports of exotic activity, which leaves the sylphs. Go, Chrysil. You know as well as the appearance of a primal takes precedence over all else. Oh, and when you arrive, do inform the antecedent that while I am grateful for her concern, she needn't fear for my safety. I am more than capable of protecting myself. It's it is a relief to see you healthy and hale, Chrysil. The latest news from Ulda was most disturbing. Clearly, the only injury Alfino suffered was to his ego. Doubtless, it will heal ere long. The other Scions will need to be present for this meeting. If you're ready to begin, I will summon them now. Thank you for responding to my call with such haste. Rest assured, I should not have summoned you were it not urgent. To business then. I have received some most disturbing news from the Order of the Swing Adder. They have reason to believe that the seals may have called forth their revered guardian, the primal Ramu. I'm sorry, may have? Then it is not certain? The elder Sitzer informed us that the elementals themselves murmur of the Lord of Levin's return to the forest. The Sylphlands, however, display no signs of undue commotion. Forgive me, antecedent, but that fact need not contradict the elementals' testimony. Unlike his more Peliscos compares, Garuda, and so on, Ramu is reputed to act only in defense of his children. I imagine he will soon make his presence known if any were foolish enough to directly endanger the selves of their territory. The abruptness of this development concerns me. We were not keeping a close watch on the touched ones and their movements. If preparations for a summoning ritual were indeed underway, it would surely not have escaped your notice. Oh, it didn't. I was pretty sure it was going to happen, just not this soon. I beg your pardon? You foresaw this eventuality and did not to prevent it? I told Papa Limo, I suppose. I could have reported things to Minfilia earlier, but there honestly wasn't much we could do except wait and see. You know how the Seals feel about people poking around in their territory. They already summoned Ramu once right after the calamity, but that was because the Guardians came tramping through the forest. And so long as Castro Orion stands, the Seals cannot be blamed for wishing to have their guardian deity on hand. In short, Ida and I are in agreement. The actions of the forest folk were inevitable and unavoidable. And I maintain that observation would have remained the best policy had it not been for the sudden influx of strangers into the Black Shroud. That, alas, we did not foresee. By all accounts, the recent violence in Uldad drove a number of refugees to seek safety under the concealing canopy of the trees. It is like the Seals perceived this panic migration as yet another invasion and quickened their efforts to summon their god. I am putting mind of Titan and the kobolds. Once again, it is the affairs of men which have paved the way for a primal's coming. Indeed, one cannot help but wonder what manner of place Eorzea would be without the civilizing influence of mankind. Be that as it may, this regrettable development does afford us a unique opportunity. Chrysil, through your dealings with the Seals of Little Solas, you once succeeded in preventing an ultimately conflict with Gridania. I wonder, might one who has treated with the Seals so fruitfully in the past not achieve similar success with their patron deity? If Ramu can be convinced of our intentions, it may be the first step to breaking the cycle of primal summoning. I found hope. Were such a thing possible, we would not have been at war with the beastmen since time immemorial. But maybe this time we can. Let us continue this discussion anon. We must needs first consult with the nation most affected by Ramu's presence. The elder Sitzer has requested your personal involvement, Chrysil. Pray report to Commander Hilax at the Adder's Nest as soon as you're able. Steel yourself for the worst. While I hope for a peaceful resolution to this matter, experience suggests that your meeting with the Lord of Living will prove less than amicable. In such an event, your fellow Scions will, of course, lend you whatever support you require. Chrysil of the Science, your arrival has been most anticipated. The appearance of a primal is ever cause for alarm and unease. Though my men stand ready for any eventuality, I know none more qualified than you to snuff out this threat. Indeed, I would have to do so without delay. The elder Sitzer, however, would speak with you first. She is of the opinion that your diplomatic rather than martial skills may better serve our cause. I will leave further explanation to our learned leader. Pray make your way to Nofika's altar. The conjurer in attendance will admit you to the lotus stand. The other scions have already arrived, madam. May I show you in?
Scions of the Seventh Dawn, on behalf of the people of Gridania, I bid you welcome. Your presence is of great comfort to us all in these days of uncertainty. I summoned you here to share tidings of a most urgent nature. But a short while ago, the great elemental spoke, and his voice was clarion in its intensity. Ramu is returned unto the forest. Scarce had his words ceased to echo in mine ears when we were visited by an emissary from Little Solace. Our guest informs us that the sylphs too have sensed the presence of the Lord of Levin. Though his exact whereabouts remain unknown, we may safely assume that the primal was summoned within the heart of the Sylphlands. Unlike the other primals you have encountered, Lord Ramu is no raging avatar of destruction. He is revered as much for his wisdom as his strength, serving as both arbiter and guardian to his children. Given that we and the Sylphs found a way to share the Twelves Wood, it is my hope that this sagely immortal will be amenable to reason, and that conflict may be avoided. Blessed as you are with the power of the Echo, you are one of the few among us who may commune with a primal without fear of influence. I would ask, therefore, that you represent us in this most delicate of negotiations. The Twelves Wood has suffered enough. Upon this, we and the Sylphs, and I would venture Lord Ramu himself, are in perfect accord. Let us not endanger our shared home by engaging in unnecessary hostilities. Dear friend, I beseech you, safeguard the peace which exists between our peoples. You have my thanks. Pray make for Little Solace, then. A member of the Order of the Twin Adder awaits you there. He will advise you on how to find the Lord of Levin. An ill wind blows through the forest. Yet, it is not only the Twelveswood that flinches at its coming. All the lands Veorzia shiver in dread anticipation. Have care.
Parcel of the Science. I was told to expect you. I understand you go to treat with the Primal Ramu himself and on an viable task, but one for which I have no doubt you are well suited. I have been told that your fellow science are conducting an investigation of the areas as you speak, that we might ascertain the location where the Lord of Levin might be found. I will ask that you abide here until they return with their findings. I was told that a messenger would be sent as soon as your fellow science finish their investigation. I do not imagine it will be much longer. This one returns and returns with good tidings. Wise ones have finished searching and have wisely identified the precise location where the touched one summoned Lord Ramu. Your timing is impeccable, my fluttery friend. Might you be so kind as to escort this good woman to her fellow science? It would be this one's pleasure. Walking one, please. Please come with this one. Wise ones have ventured deep within the Sylphlands. These ones must proceed carefully and keep an eye out for touch ones. This one is most sorry, but this one can go no further. Draw too close to Lord Ramu, and this one may turn mean and nasty like the touched ones. And so this one must say farewell for now. Walking one. We'll find wise ones not far from here, to the south. Go in safety, walking one. So it's actually you. I am relieved. For a moment I thought we were dealing with another one of those confounded filth tricksters. I swear, with them wreaking havoc with their skin changing magics, it's a wonder I was able to finish taking my measurements. Yes, it was quite the ordeal. You should have seen the look on Ishtola's face when the one impersonating you suddenly showed up. That's quite enough, Papaluma. My apology. It's not like me to ramble so. At any rate, as I was saying, I have finished measuring etheric activity in the area, and I am pleased to say that I have reached an indisputable conclusion to wit that Ramu was called forth in the vicinity of the Seal's etherite. Come, Chrysiel. The Lord of Living awaits.
Thine order betrays thee, servant of hiding. Thou art the bringer of light, bane of Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, and Leviathan. I am Ramu, guardian of the children of the forest. Thou tramplest upon sacred soil, bringer of light. By what right doth man intrude in this sanctuary of the sylphs? Gridanians proffer peace? Their words are born of delusion, thine offer an insult. Thou speakest of harmony, yet carest naught for my children's desires. They did but wish to dwell beneath these boughs in solitude. Yet even that was too much to ask of man. Thus did they turn to me for succor. The sentence I pronounce upon thy kind is just. Redanian or Garlean, it matters not. The good intent of one excuseth not the misdeeds of the other. Thy conflict hath brought naught but anguish and misery unto the forest. All blame doth lie with the darkness that resideth in the breast of man. Whence sprung this calamitous seed? In the beginning no such duality existed. Were light and dark given form when man was born? It would explain much. Not least why strife and sorrow follow ever in thy wake. Thou canst not deny the urgings of thine own nature. Knowing that thy mere presence here portendeth tragedy, wilt thou persist in this pretense of peacemaking? Thou bearest the crystal which I bestowed upon my wayward charges, that they should entrust so precious a gift to thee. Thou standest apart from thy kin. Thou art the bringer of light, aye. But there is something more in thee. Very well. I shall consider thy proposal, shouldst thou survive my trial. If thou wouldst champion the cause of harmony, I must have proof that thou art fit to play the role. Wither mine ire, and prove to me thereby that thou hast strength enough to stay the darkness which threateneth to consume thee. Yet if thou shouldst be found wanting, know that all men shall perish in the storm of my judgment. Come to me, bringer of light. I shall await thee on the field of battle.
Urianger, it is rare indeed to find you so far from a tome.
The Lord of Levin himself. Never till this day had I looked upon his visage, save in painted renderings made faint by time. Ever shall this scene remain etched in my mind's eye. Beg pardon, my lady. I must beg thine aid on a point of research. If thou art resolved to face Lord Ramuh, I would ask thy leave to observe the event.
Wow.
I have taken thy measure, bringer of light. And I judge thee a worthy champion. The task of excising the sin that hath taken root in man's heart is thine. Shrink not from employing thy strength in service to the forest and the wider realm beyond. Like hungering shadows do the enemies of harmony gather, and meekness will but feed them. If man is to be delivered from the dark, it shall be by thy guiding light alone. Stray not from the path, for if thou dost, thy people shall be truly lost.
Thou hast slain the Lord of Levin. A regrettable act, but a necessary one. In witnessing thy struggle, a truth hath been revealed unto me. If I mistake not, it may yet prove a chink in the eternal armor of the Ascians. But let us conclude our present business. I shall expound upon my findings at the Rising Stones anon.
Chrysil, you have returned. I dare ask how Ramu received your visit. He challenges you to a test of arms. It is well, then, that you have some experience in such matters. The peoples of both Gridania and Little Solas will be relieved to hear that the Lord of Levin has accepted you as the forest champions of beasts. You have performed a monumental duty this day, Chrysil. The elder Caesar must be informed of your deeds at once. The elder Caesar will wish to hear of your experiences firsthand. Pray return to Gridania and make directly for the Lotus Stand. The conjurer at Nofika's altar will be expecting you. Fare you well, Chrysil. Oh. Welcome back, Honor Scion. We know knew of your mission. We who knew of your mission have been most anxious to see your return. The elder Caesar awaits you within.
You are returned to us, dear friend, and none the worse for bearing the heavy burden which I did press upon you. Most glad am I of this. I am informed that your efforts to negotiate a peace with Lord Ramuh ended in conflict. Pray tell me, what befell? Ramuh made trial of you? I fear there is truth to his claim. It is the darkness within us that attracts the darkness without. It cannot be denied that misfortune follows man. For evidence, one need only look to the conflict brewing in Cartano, or to the rising flood of refugees. Our shared struggle against the Empire should have served to seal our union. Yet the ties which bind the Alliance strain under the weight of gross self-interest. As the scars of the calamity begin to fade, so too does our sense of common purpose. Yet now is scarce the time to forget our shared responsibility. If this new-sprung realm is to survive beyond its infancy, it must needs be nurtured by all. Eorzea must be as one, yet I fear that dream is still far off. On behalf of the people of Gridania and the elementals both, I thank you for all that you and your fellow scions have done. Full oft have I been compelled to look to you for aid of late, and offered all too little in return. As leader of this nation, I shall endeavor to prove a more worthy ally to your cause henceforth. Lord Ramuh has departed, yet the keening of this ill wind grows no less insistent. Voices of the forest, pray speak and I shall listen. What unseen evil begets this unease in my heart?
Thus ends another daunting mission, eh, Chryso? I'd hope Lord Ramuh could be persuaded with words alone, but nonetheless, I can only admire the adroitness with which you responded to the primal sudden challenge. And it seems that Urianjo too was pleased with the outcome. What say you, Chryso? So we gather back at the Rising Stones and ponder the lessons of the day? Welcome back, Chryso. Word of your momentous encounter with Lord Ramuh precedes you. I will fain share news of mine own, but Urianger's discovery must take precedence. Upon witnessing your defeat of the Lord of Levin, our learned companion was struck with a profound insight regarding the natures of the Asian's immortality. Let us assemble and discuss his observations together.
If everyone is ready, let us begin.
Urianger, the floor is yours.
As all here assembled now know, in its final hours as our Order's headquarters, the Waking Sands did play host to a most unexpected visitor. I speak of the Ascian clad in white, Elidibus. Unwelcome though his presence was, his words that day did serve to confirm a truth long suspected, that the Ascians are eternal beings, to whom physical destruction is as a temporary inconvenience.
In the intervening time, Urianger and I have striven to discover a means by which the Ascians might more permanently be slain.
And 'tis my belief that we have found the thread that will allow us to unravel the twisted skein of their existence. In the moments prior to Leviathan's most recent manifestation, the Sahagin elder who summoned him was observed to undergo some manner of ascension. The etheric readings taken by Y'shtola at the time of this transfiguration have proven most enlightening.
The disruption to the flow of ether was sudden and dramatic. So tangible was the agitation, I scarce had need of my goggles.
The significance of Y'shtola's readings might better be understood in the context of mine own, taken at the instant of the Lord of Levin's demise. Unlike the Primal, the Sahagin was not subject to etheric dissipation.
Before discussing our new discoveries, it may benefit us all to recall what we know of etheric behavior. Let us begin at what some might call the end. When we who dwell in the material realm die, our spirits dissolve into the flow of ether and are returned to the ethereal realm. In turn, the restless energy which suffuses that plane streams back into our world, giving rise to new life.
'Tis as the heavens did decree, the way of all mortal souls. Twixt this world and the next do the ethereal currents swirl, bearing the very essence of life. Thus doth the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth continue unabated.
Primals behave somewhat differently. In order to manifest and then maintain a physical presence in this realm, they must consume vast quantities of ether, most often in the form of crystals. Though they may seem to live, their flesh is but ether given shape. Thus, a defeated primal leaves behind no broken corpse. Rather, the essence of its form seeps back into the land whence it came, and the energy of its shattered spirit is called back to the ethereal realm.
And there it waiteth, till next the prayers of the faithful do draw it forth from the sea of ether, to take their offering of crystals and make for itself a new body.
Which brings us on to the third group, the so-called immortals. They exist in a manner all their own.
Quite. Even as the Sahagin elder fell to the Admiral's musket shot, I witnessed the release of an ethereal cloud, which immediately took possession of a nearby minion.
A soul that dissipateth not upon the death of the flesh.
The secret of life everlasting, and in the claws of a Sahagin no less. But I wonder, what would happen to one of these obstinate spirits should there be no suitable host for it to claim?
If mortal death entails a return to the ethereal realm, it seems doubtful that the soul of an immortal would venture there.
Nay, it merely withdraweth a distance, unto the shore of the ethereal sea, perchance, but no further.
Yes, it exists in neither this realm nor the next, abiding instead in the space that lies between them. The Ascians took control of Thancred by means of a crystal of darkness, an artifact which, if our theories are correct, serves as a gateway to the place I have just described.
I was hoping people had forgotten about that.
I am sorry, my friend.
For a mercy, the weary road of our research hath brought us unto an answer.
The Sahagin ascended to an immortal state, but he did not possess a crystal of darkness through which to flee this realm. Thus was he consumed by Leviathan. If we could entrap the spirits of defeated Ascians in like manner, and thereby deny them resurrection...
Therein lieth the path to victory. Thou art most perceptive, my lady. Only when we have trapped the bodiless soul within an ethereal prison can we hope to defeat its unnatural constancy. Thus might even an eternal paragon be consigned to oblivion.
These feats are, of course, far easier said than done. At present, we lack a viable means to entrap and extinguish an Ascian soul. Yet, I believe it to be possible. The pieces of the puzzle lie before us. We have but to put them together.
I will depart at once to convene with the sages of Sharlayan. Together shall we divine the steps by which our goals may be achieved.
I have the utmost faith in you, Archon.
Beg pardon, antecedent, but I would raise one final matter. Even now, a Sharlayan survey party seeketh to ascertain the fate of the students of Baldessian. Their findings shall soon be known to us. Though you harbor feelings of dread, I bid you surrender not to sorrow, but abide instead in hopeful prayer.
I shall, Archon. Thank you.
The total Levin is returned to the ether, as was Leviathan before him. Ramus and Quiescence was most intriguing. Inferno, Vortex, Gra, Coral, and Levin all have now been humbled by the Bringer of Light. The limitless potential of a man, idling servant grows mightier by the day. Yet she prospers at a great cost to her mistress, whose strength is all too finite. 7 times have the masses survived the rejoining, but their souls are grown weak and wan. Yet even as he enervates, the ardor empowers our master. All that remains is to nurture the strength of the gifted, to forge the final key. And that is the task to which we bend our every effort. Divine seeds wherever want to quicken in Eorzea's fertile soil. We need only lead men to the field, and by their eager hands shall a new deity arise. That which was shattered shall be made anew, and the one true God shall come again. Now the matter of Ramu has for the present be put to rest. There is something I will show you, Chrysil. It is a letter of thanks, signed by the leaders of the Eorzean Alliance, acknowledging the Scion's tireless service to the realm. It mentions in particular the names of all the defeated primals: Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, Guki, Mugo, Mog 12, Leviathan, and now Ramu. Needless to say, there's only one among our numbers to have faced them all. And though these words of gratitude were addressed to our order as a whole, I feel like they were meant for you above all others. I too must offer my heartfelt thanks for all that you have done. In the course of your duties, you have never once failed to answer my call to arms. You are a true hero, Chrysil, and Eorzea is that much the safer for your presence. Pray do not misunderstand me. I said safer, not safe. I know only too well that we can ill afford to lower our guard. The Asians may be relied upon to sow chaos in the realm until such time as they are forced to stop. Why, even without their encouragement, you may be assured that a man will for men strive on his own. And that is to say nothing of the beast tribes. Unless we learn to live in harmony, the primals too will return to plague us again and again and again. And yet, despite all this, your deed serves to inspire the people, to give them hope for a better tomorrow, and there is no greater gift. Oh my god, Minfilia. That we have the courage to strive for what might otherwise seem an impossible peace. We owe in no small part of the dangers you have faced on our behalf, and the people you have won over to our cause in doing so. Our list of enemies have ever been long, but think of allies with whom we are now blessed. Of the sylphs of Little Solas who wish not of conflict, of the Alamegans and the Domans who stand with us determined to halt the dread march of the Empire. And then there is Seed and the Fellowship of Noah, racing to unlock the mysteries of ancient Alat that we might be spared of the horror of another Ultima weapon. Of course, when speaking of our greatest allies, we must not forget those closest to us, by which I mean our fellow Scions. Thanks to their many and varied talents, our order is uniquely equipped to combat the far-reaching corrupt of the Asians, and combat it we shall. Your enthusiasm is truly heartwarming, Antecedent. Given our embarrassing wealth of allies, I trust it will not convenience you too unduly if I absent myself for a time. Alfinard, I take it the troubles in Ul'dah no longer require your attention? There are yet some rumblings of discontent, but the air of simmering violence is largely dissipated. It is to report such that I stand before you now. That, and to speak with you concerning the new organization we discussed. I have a message for you from Ele. You recall the refugee girl, the one whose parents were missing? They were found unharmed. she wished me to pass on her thanks to you. Why, Avenue, I am to understand that you made the effort to remember the poor girl's name. I look forward to reading all of her in your report. All about her in your report. I do hope you left nothing out. Chrysil, you have been away from Revenant's Dole for some time now, I believe. Might I suggest that you put the affairs of the realm to one side for the moment and take this opportunity to reacquaint yourself with the town? Oh my god, take a break, Minfilia. Which reminds me, one of the Doman children recently inquired as to your whereabouts. Josan was his name. I believe he was some small matter he wished to share with you. Why not oblige him with a visit? Look, it's Miss Chrysil. She's back from her adventures. We heard you were off fighting primals, and that they're some of the strongest enemies you could ever face. I wish I could have seen you in battle. Anyway, we all want to be heroes too, so we finally formed our very own Doman Adventurers Guild to protect all the Domans. Do you think you could train us today, Miss Chrysil? Maybe you could show us how you fought the primals. What is all this commotion then? Mr. Boulder and Mr. Countenant? Did you know that Miss Chrysil is back? So it would seem. Welcome home, Chrysil. My companion and I but recently became full members of the Science, and I believe proper introductions have yet to be made. I am known as Tori Boulder, and this bookish fellow is Coltonet. Though we remain largely unproven as adventurers, we have taken upon ourselves to instruct the Doman junglings in the arts of combat. I told you, Mr. Boulder, we are not junglings anymore. We are adventurers. And we were just asking Miss Chrysil if she could give us some special training. I think we are ready to hunt monsters alongside her, don't you? Well, you've certainly been diligent with your drills, but I'm afraid the fiends of Mordona are still ever so slightly too dangerous for you. I have a counter proposal. What if I were to cross swords with Chrysil, a demonstration of skill at arms, if you will? Or if I didn't know you better and I'd say you were merely seeking to test yourself against a legend. Well, mayhaps I am. But what matters the motive when the children stand to learn so much from the lesson? What say you, Chrysil? Would you consent to spar with me? We are to have a tournament. Come on, everyone. We must prepare our gear for an outing. Do try not to disappoint them. Have faith, Cotenant. I shall summon every last ounce of my strength to make of this a worthy contest. The fields to the east of town should prove suitable for our purpose. I very much look forward to our bout. Very well, let us not keep the younglings waiting any longer. Hori, are you certain you wish to fight her alone? That is Gracio you face. What a better way to test my mettle. Pray allow me to attempt the first round unaided. After all, it was this hero legend that led me to join the Scions to begin with. Without Chrysio to inspire my efforts, I would not be half the warrior I am today. Your point is well made, but remember, this is for the children's sake as well as your own. Should it appear the contest will end too swiftly, I shall add my spells to your blade work. Hello, you haven't begun yet, have you? Ida? What? Who are all these people? When I heard about your sparring match, I told everyone I could find. Though you could use a crowd to cheer you on. Thought you could use a crowd to cheer you on. Yes, and there's still more to come. When I mentioned Grisel's name, the reaction was quite enthusiastic. Why, my own popularity seems to but a sickly shade in comparison. You best claim victory, bringer of light. Your burgeoning reputation is at stake. Our teacher won't be beaten so easily. He's a master swordsman. You can win, Mr. Boulder. We shall soon see. On your guard. Wow. No, it will end. Oh my god. You have bested me. I yield. That was incredible. She beat them both at the same time. We knew you couldn't lose, Chrysio. No one can defeat the Guardian of Eorzea. Now, why they sent you to deal with the Primal. Now I see why they sent you to deal with the Primal. I have much work to do if I am ever to attempt the same. Impressive as always, Chrysio. It is ever a pleasure to witness the spectacle of your martial prowess. And judging by the smiles on these many faces, they too appreciate the hard-won strength that keeps the perils of the realm at bay. Guardian of Eorzea. Yes, that is a most fitting title. Do you recall when we first met, It was at the memorial service for the Battle of Cardenio. At the time, I was yet attempting to understand this land of Eorzea. I sought to grasp the reaction why grandfather willingly sacrificed himself to protect it. I shall speak plainly. My initial impressions were less than favorable. Favorable, I guess. Dire problems abounded, and yet the efforts I saw expended towards their solution was half-bastard, half-assert, and half-hearted. I thought Eorzeans a foolish and childish people. Considering the shambles the home was in, I would not have been surprised if some had chosen to swear allegiance to Gaius and the order he proposed to enforce. The Legato's single-minded military invasion precluded any such switching of loyalties, of course. Were not for a desire to continue grandfather's legacy, I would have abandoned the realm for its fate long ago. The threats were too many, the nations too self-involved and unstable. It was you who convinced me the salvation of Eorzea was possible. It was you who taught me, though countless acts of bravery that my grandsires sought to preserve, was not the land, nor his history, nor any single nation. It was the people, this wonderful, oft infuriating, stubborn people that suffered blow after terrible blow of oh my god. That suffered blow after terrible blow only to drag themselves back to their feet to face another day. Though he never put such feelings into words, I believe grandfather's admiration for this inextinguishable courage grew into a fervent wish. A wish to aid Eorzea and its inhabitants in charting a course for the future. I wish that has now become my own. I too will endeavor to take up the mantle of guardian of Eorzea and champion these people who toil towards a better world. Our cause, however, it is not a simple one. The troubles that plague us are of a scale that cannot be solved by the science of the seventh dawn alone. No, what is needed to tackle the root of the primal threat and effectively counter the schemes of Asians is a new, expanded organization that operates beyond the limitations of nations and borders. If you would aid me in building such an organization, then pray let us continue this discussion back within the oh my god. Then pray let us continue this discussion back within the walls of the Rising Stones. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break and I'll be back soon. Okay, I'm back. Um, let's go to get this question. This. Oh my God, this mission. Thank you for coming, Chrysil. The world shifts and alters, and we, my friend, must ever be one step ahead of the chaos. What I propose is the formation of a new organization, a group that shall pave the way of for a truly united Eorzea. Pray forgive me if I tread over old ground, but I will first speak of the grand plan. Since the advent of the seventh astral era, the leaders of the three nations have been deliberating over an accord that seeks to bring the disparate forces of Eorzea together into a single entity. A realm-wide grand company, if you will. The military might of such an institution will be drawn from every corner of the land and directed against threats that no single nation could hope to overcome alone. Yet, while the purpose of this hypothetical organization is undisputed, the logistics of its formation have become the source of endless debate. And the longer these discussions continue, the more I sense the towards impetuous towards unification drawing away. Thus, I have been campaigning for the creation of what might be considered a trial company. It would be on a much smaller scale than than what we hope to eventually achieve, but capable of the same manner of unrestricted operation according to the science. It is my hope that the successful utilization of such force will lend momentum to the lagging deliberations. Also, being a primarily military outfit, I mean to assuage fears of its misuse by placing the fledgling organization under the authority of the antecedent. The Scions worked tirelessly to protect Eorzea and its people. But as you yourself have witnessed with the refugee revolt, there are limitations to what even we can achieve. With this new company under the Scion's command, however, we will be capable of responding to a wider range of difficulties without straining our resources or overtaxing your formidable talents. The goals of my proposed organization and those of the Scions are ultimately identical, a point considered by all concerned. But before I can move forward with establishing this precursor to the true border-spanning grand company, it is yet necessary that I visit the three leaders and gain their official approval. A tiresome and time-consuming task, which is why I will ask that you accompany me on the journey and attend to the business of recruiting our inaugural members, while I am otherwise engaged with bureaucratic formalities. Thank you. It is reassuring indeed to know that the bringer of light and her discerning eye will be selecting our future allies. Our first destination will be Lin Salomensa. Let us rendezvous at Bulwark Hall. Thank you very much for coming. Have a nice weekend.